pick two words from our upcoming unit, which is all on Vietnam. What I'm going to do is look at this word, Vietnamization. The next thing it asks us for is description. All right, description. Now, here's what I want you guys to do. You're going to have to help me out. As you get your books out, I want you to go to the glossary and I want you to find Vietnamization. All right, Megan, say it loud, say it proud. I want everybody to keep getting there if you're not there yet. Okay, Vietnamization. What is it?
President Nixon's plan for gradual withdrawal of U.S. forces as South Vietnamese troops assume more combat duties.
Now what we're going to do is we're going to put this in our own words, okay? I don't want you on yours where it says description, I don't want you to just go to the back of the book and write down exactly what it has, okay? I want you to come up with your own definition, all right? So my description would be gradual, it's got to have something to do with gradual removal of troops. And we heard something about Vietnam. Do I even have to know what Vietnam is yet to be able to understand what Vietnamization is yet? Not really. Not for this assignment. So the next part is where this assignment gets a little bit tougher. Where we're going to end up getting at is we're going to come up with a question for Vietnamization. Okay, you guys are going to come up with a question for domino theory and Gulf of Tonkin resolution. Okay? All right, so the drawing. What I want is to you to show me you understand what your words mean through a drawing. Okay, so in 1968, we can see in Vietnam we got a lot. 1970, not as many. 1972, even less. You can see that it's got something to do with Vietnamization, must have something to do with less soldiers in Vietnam throughout the years. Now the next part is your I wonder section, okay? A question about the actual word. My Vietnamization question could be something like, I wonder how long it took to get all U.S. soldiers out of Vietnam.
Well, the first thing that I noticed when I came back for the second time was that you had a smaller group and the atmosphere seemed much more calm. I noticed right away that there were clear instructions that were given twice, and later there was a third where it was repeated. So I thought there was a very clear beginning, and there was also a purpose given to the assignment with, this was the unit that we were on. The big thing that I saw this time was the process of modeling and using the Promethean board with the technology. And I noticed, I saw that students were quiet, they seemed to be more engaged, and even students were helping find the term in their book. And then I think the last thing that I noticed were when some students came back in later, they were partnered up, and the students who were here were going to help explain the process that was modeled to them to the students who came in who were new to the class for the day.
The instructions I thought were very clear. I particularly enjoyed the modeling using the Promethean board. Mr. Johnson has a great rapport with his students, and it seemed like they very much enjoyed the class. I thought as far as the two things that you asked us to look for, the clarity of the lesson, I thought it was very clear. Students fully understood what they were expected to do. And the relevancy, you made that clear at the beginning. We're starting a new unit. These are the key terms that we need to know in order to understand what we're getting ready to start studying. So I think students were both, were fully aware of both of those things.
Mm-hmm. One of the first things I wondered from the start, where we saw the same process to this process, is I just wondered if students are getting better with this format. I also wondered if the use of the technology with the Promethean board this time and the modeling process, if that was something that engaged students more. And I guess the result of that will have to come, later when you look at the results of the assignment for the day. I wondered if students would be capable, once you modeled that process, if they would be capable of going back and explaining it clearly to the kids who came into the room, who needed to know what they were, being asked to work on as an assignment.
I wondered if students would be able to understand the definition that was even available to them in the glossary. And I wondered if maybe a dictionary resource, whether it was on their netbooks or actually a hard copy dictionary, might be helpful in that section where you ask them to describe the word, not to draw, but to describe. I wonder if they would have difficulty doing that with the glossary definition, because I think the glossary definitions sometimes are hard for kids to understand. They don't know the vocabulary. And I wondered if you use the term paraphrase, it would be clearer to them, because that's a term we use in English all the time, especially when we're writing research or when we're asking kids to explain what the author's saying. We say paraphrase what the author means, or paraphrase this paragraph. That might make it easier, too, for them to understand what the instructions are, because that should be a term we hope they're familiar with. If not, we probably should all be trying to make sure they are. Wondering how you feel about this lesson compared to the last time we watched you do the same similar lesson.
First, I wonder was our students getting better, and just in the small sample size that I've seen, I had 2 classes do this today, and I think it was probably because I asked them for specific questions this time instead of generic. I noticed that being a lot better. I kind of noticed myself last time gravitating towards the questions that they asked as kind of an indicator of how well they understand the word, and they were very generic. These seem to be much more specific. And after you guys did leave, when they were done, they bring them up, and that's the first thing I would look at is their question. And if it was too broad, I'd explain it was too broad, and I'd like for them to go back and fix it. But I saw a lot better questions and a lot better drawings. They felt like they seemed a little bit more creative this time with that. The Promethean board engaged students more, without a doubt. As soon as I was saying, talking about the use your own words, I tried to, in the example, be like, okay, see if you can just try to at least get even the bare minimum. So how do I think it compared to last time? I thought this time the drawings are a lot better. Definitely with trying it on the Promethean board and giving examples, that was definitely something that helped out.
I wonder if next time maybe students would feel comfortable enough to do their own and share what they've done with everybody else. They always like to see people draw at the board.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a high interest thing.
Yeah.
And it may kind of spur some of the others to go, oh, well, that's not Picasso.
Right.
I mean, I can do this. I just think that would be fun for them, and I think it would keep them engaged.
Yeah, be good.